What's up guys, Ryan here from Mudgunner, and today it is our 16th viewer build video in a row. I do these every week. This week's theme was shotguns, and I want to thank you guys because again, 16 in a row. This is awesome, and I'm glad that people like watching them. So if you want a sneak peek of next week's theme, can you guess by just looking at this rifle? The theme is FS 2000. No, not really. The theme for next week is actually going to be quad rail rifles. So it doesn't have to be an AR. This is a quad rail on here. And I know I'm not the only person that still thinks quad rail is superior. I know there's a lot of you guys out there. So I figured we could just do a dedicated video of quad railed guns. So no M-LOK, no key mod, just quad rail. Doesn't have to be an AR. So that's next week's theme. If you want to participate, look in my description down below of this video. I have the rules, and basically I do need a good horizontal picture. If you can crop it to 16:9, I know you can do it on an iPhone, that's the easiest. And then we need good quality ones. I still get blurry pictures here and there. So try to take the best quality picture you can on a plain background. But yeah, with that being said, enjoy all these really cool shotguns today. All right, guys, starting off this week's viewer build video, we have Kelby with this awesome Vepr 12. So the Vepr 12 is Russian, in case you didn't know. It's basically an AK 12 gauge shotgun. And I'm gonna go through their build list they have here. So it's got a Carolina Shooter Supply GK01 muzzle brake, and then it's a US made clone of the Russian muzzle brakes. It's got a BCM Picatinny rail section on the other side of the handguard for a Surefire X300 ultralight. It's got the SGM 25 round drum mag. It says typically runs CS specs 10 round steel mags though. It's got a Leopold 1x34 Freedom RDS red dot on there. It's got a Magpul MOE AK grip, and then a CNC Warrior slant cut Vepr folding buffer tube AR stock adapter. That was a mouthful. It's got a Fab Defense GL Core CP AR stock with a cheek riser. And then it says possible upgrades with the fast approval times going on is converting it to an SPS and maybe running a silencer go Salvo 12. I think that would be cool if you SPS'd it and ran a Salvo 12. I don't have any experience running any short barrel shotgun like this, like a AK style, but I think it'd be pretty sweet. So yeah, I recommend doing that and hopefully get a pretty quick turnaround time. But thank you for sharing that, Kelby. It looks great. This one comes from Justin, and it looks like we got a couple nice shotguns here. So speaking of SPSs, we have two SPSs. So starting on the left, which is going to be the top for you guys, we have a Mossberg 590S SPS. So the S means it's capable of running short shells from the factory as far as I know. I don't know if there's any other changes other than that. But yeah, started out as a Mossberg 590S Shockwave, which is the 14-inch pistol grip firearm. He replaced the factory barrel with a Mossberg police barrel with the front sight post, which looks great on there. He's got a Magpul SGA stock. It's got an Aridus Industries rear sight and RMR mount, and it's also running a Trijicon RMR. It's got a G&G front and rear QD sling mounts. Not shown, but it's got a Blue Force Gear Vickers sling. And then he's sending it to have it Cerakoted Bazooka Green in the next couple weeks. That'll look awesome. And he's also got a Streamlight racker for it, but he doesn't like the way it feels. Is that the foreign light that you're mentioning? That's what I'm assuming. But yeah, I mean, that thing looks great as an SPS, so thank you for sharing that one, Justin. And then next up, we have a 1952 Browning Auto 5 SPS. That one looks great. Like, I know there's going to be the clash of retro versus modern. I think they both look great, but yeah, that retro A5 looks good. So it's a factory gun picked up with a bulge barrel, and then used a hacksaw to chop the barrel, and then added sling swivels and a Repro 1907 sling. Nice. So other than that, I assume it's bone stock, and it looks great. So yeah, thank you for sharing those, Justin. They both came out amazing. This next one comes from Joe, and this is a Beretta 1301. It says Beretta Improved Choke, Aridus Industries Extension Tube, a Briley Manufacturing handguard, a Surefire M600 dual fuel. It's got an S-Tac shotgun card side saddle, and then a Rowe tactical stock adapter with a Mossberg 500 stock. Nice. I didn't even know that was a thing for shotguns, but it doesn't even look like a Beretta 1301 anymore, but it looks great. And we only have the one picture to go off of. So the Beretta 1301 is semi-auto, in case you didn't know. And yeah, this one looks like it's had quite a bit of work done to it. And you didn't mention, but it looks like it may have been Cerakoted. I'm not sure if I've seen that finish from the factory before, but it's also got a lot of stuff on there. But yeah, that looks pretty great from the picture I can see. So thank you for sharing that one, Joseph. This next one comes from Zufir, and this is their very first gun, the Kel-Tec KSG. Nice. I want a KSG at some point because of John Wick 1, even though he only had it for half a second. He's running an EOTech on there. But yeah, so Kel-Tec KSG. It's got Magpul MBUS 3 front and rear sights. It's got an Olight Odin on there, a Hi-Tac custom mini angled rail, and then a Magpul AFG. And not much else to add, but yeah, that's okay. It looks great, and I'm sure it shoots good. So yeah, thank you for sharing that one, Zufir. And yeah, optic-wise, if you're looking for a sweet one for it, I think the EOTechs look really good on those. So thank you for sharing that. This next one comes from Ryan, and this is his Mossberg 500. So it looks like he's got a decent list here. I'm going to go through it. It's got an XS front sight, a Choate Tool Night Manager, which is a mag tube replacement cap. It's got a GG&G front sling mount, a Surefire light fore-end, heat shield by shotgunheatshield.com, a Phase 5 shotgun follower in red, a cheap Amazon match saver. It's got Scalarworks Sync 03 red dot mount, a Holosun 407C. It's got S-Tac Velcro shotgun cards, enhanced thumb safety by NDZ Performance, a Hogue overmolded stock modified to fit Magpul sling mount, a Magpul MS3 sling, and then running 12 gauge Federal Force ×2, is that double aught buck? And then they sometimes run the Absol mini clip adapter to run mini shot shells for funsies. And then they're thinking about sending the barrel to Vangcomp. I have always heard good things about that, but I don't have any personal experience shooting one. So yeah, I don't think you can go wrong there based off of what I've heard. But yeah, that setup looks awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Ryan. All right, these next two shotguns come from Burr, and it looks like we just have some nice clean shotguns. So the over-under is a Browning 525 Golden Clay 20 gauge. And this was inherited from their father. It looks like a beautiful shotgun. I know Browning makes great stuff. I just haven't had the chance to shoot any of them. But it looks like it's ported. It's got gold chokes in the front. It's engraved. And yeah, beautiful shotgun. The next one is a double barrel LC Smith specialty trap grade in 12 gauge. And then it has about 98% of its case hardening remaining. It looks great too. I didn't even realize it was a double barrel just from the angle of this picture. Also looks like a beautiful shotgun. The wood on both of them is amazing. I like the engravings and the case hardening finish on the double barrels. Sweet. They said they also have multiple other Brownings and LC Smith shotguns. I bet they shoot really nice. I only have a couple over-unders and side-by-sides myself, but nothing too fancy. So yeah, thank you for sharing those, Bird. They look beautiful. All right, next up we have a couple really nice shotguns from Alan. He's got a Benelli M4 and a Genesis 12 gauge limited edition. We're going to start with the Benelli M4. So it's got a Strike Industries Hale Tactical Handguard. It's got a FFT extended magazine tube, trigger pack upgrade, and Wolf Premium high power magazine spring. It's got a Limsaver butt pad. It's got a Mesa Tactical side saddle. It's got a tactical charging handle and bolt release pad. It's got a Geisley Super Precision mount with an aimpoint T2 on it, and then a Cloud Defensive Rain with the pressure pad. I'm digging that setup, and I like the camo in the Cloud Defensive. I know they do a couple camo patterns on some of their lights, but yeah, that thing looks nice. And then it doesn't look like you mentioned, but you do have a muzzle device on there too. I don't know who makes it, but I didn't see that in the build list. All right, next up, we are going to go to the Genesis Arms 12 gauge. So again, Genesis 12 limited edition competition shotgun. It's got an 18 3/4 inch ported barrel, a short recoil operation, free float handguard. It's got BCM ambidextrous controls, a Hyperfire Hypertouch 2.5 pound trigger, a Unity riser, and then an EOTech EXPS 3-1. And I also like the Tiger Stripe camo on there, and I assume everything else is just factories. If you don't know, the Genesis Arms 12 gauge was used in the 4th John Wick movie, and then the Benelli M4 was used in the second one. Yeah, it was the second one, because I think in the third one he had an M2. I could be mistaken, but I think the second one was mainly the Benelli M4. But yeah, I'm a fan of both of those. Thank you for sharing, Alan. This next one comes from Wesley, and this is their basic build. It's a Mossberg 590 Shockwave converted to an SPS. It's got a Wooks fore-end. Not a fan both cosmetically and functionally, but will replace with a more retro fore-end if one ever comes up on eBay. And then it's got a Numerich sourced wood stock. They said they wanted to build a shotgun they always saw in the back of police cruisers in the 90s here in Texas, and this is what they ended up with. It looks great, and yeah, you definitely see a lot of old school SBS shotguns, and I wouldn't mind doing one of those as well. And it looks like they have a YouTube channel as well. It's called Shooting Savvy 556, so go check them out if you don't mind. But yeah, thank you for sharing that shotgun. It looks amazing. All right, this next one comes from Jay, and this looks like the most ultimate Remington 870 I've seen so far. So I'm going to go through their whole build list here. It's a Remington 870 Tactical Express. It's got a Briley modified choke. It's got S&J hardware +3 mag extension, bayonet lug full mount, and a forward sling mount. It's got a Magpul sling, a Magpul forend with a DIY stipple job. It's got a Magpul vertical grip with the DIY stipple job, a Surefire 6PX light. It's got a Voltor QD offset light mount, a Briley stage saver, a Trijicon MRO with an American Defense QD mount, a Timney 870 trigger fix with a 2-pound pull. It's got S&J hardware jumbo safety selector, a DIY Velcro side saddle. It's got a Mesa tactical stock adapter, a Magpul grip, and then lastly it's got a Fab Defense recoil reducing stock and shell holder. And yeah, again, that thing looks like an insane shotgun. I bet it shoots nice, and it looks pretty awesome with the bayonet on there. But yeah, thank you for sharing that one, Jay. This next one comes from Robert, and it looks like we got the 2 factory Remington shorties. So the top is the Remington TAC 13 V3 semi-auto, which are very hard to find. And then the only modification is a GG&G charging handle and shell holder / card, which is on the other side. And then the bottom is the Remington TAC 14 with the same shell holder / card. But yeah, those look like 2 badass shotguns, and I bet SBSing that TAC 13 would be pretty sweet. But if you don't do it, I don't blame you. It looks good as it is, so yeah, thank you for sharing those, Robert. Again, those are both factory Remingtons just with the side saddle, and those TAC 13s are very hard to find from what I've seen. Looks like we got a couple more builds from Robert as well. Looks like he's doing stuff in pairs. So also from Robert, we have a Beretta 1301 on top with an Enforced WMLX light, a Holosun 507 comp red dot, and then a no-name sling and a shell holder on the way. And then on the bottom, we have a Beretta A300 Patrol with the same Enforced WMLX light, a Holosun 507C red dot, a no-name sling, and the shell holder provided by Beretta. I like the two-tone you got going here. So the bottom one looks like the gray finish receiver, and then top one's FDE. Definitely a fan of the FDE. And then looks like we still have a couple more. So also from Robert, we have the Benelli Supernova with the GG&G shell tube light mount, a GG&G pick rail, a Midwest Industries pistol grip stock with adjustable cheek riser, an Enforced WMLX light, a Holosun 507C red dot, no-name sling, a Midwest Industries shell holder, and Meprolite front and rear sights. I dig it. Looks like you're quite the fan of shotguns, but all your builds look great. And then we have one more set of shotguns from Robert. Up top, we have a Mossberg 930, also with the Enforced WMLX light. Sorry, that's like a tongue twister. WMLX. GG&G shell tube and barrel clamp with pick rail section. It's got the shell holder / card, and then a no-name sling. And then on the bottom, we have a Mossberg 590A1 20-inch retro with the bayonet lug. It's got a Magpul shell tube and barrel clamp with the QD slot, a GG&G pick rail because they removed the factory rear sight. It's got a GG&G follower in titanium red, a no-name sling, the shell holder, ghost ring rear iron sight, and a red dot on the way. Yeah, all of your shotguns look amazing, Robert, so thank you for sharing those. Next up, we have a pretty badass looking Benelli M4 from Tommy. And from tip to butt, we have a Surefire Scout Light / pressure pad. We have a Midwest Industries Benelli M4 M-Lock handguard, a rail scale handguard cover. It's got a Strike Industries hand stop, a Scalarworks Aimpoint T2 mount, and then it doesn't say the red dot, but it looks like an Aimpoint T2. It's got Terran Tactical oversized bolt release, an RX Arms Benelli M4 charging handle / buttstock QD sling mount, an S-Tac side saddle, and then it's got a Faro Concept slingster. And that thing looks sick. It does look like the Ellie model Benelli. What would be slightly different from the Ellie model versus standard ones, this one has the 7-round tube from the factory, I believe. It's got the collapsing stock, and then if it's the Ellie model, I believe it has the thicker profile barrel. And I think it would be like improved modified or something, because my Benelli M4 is not the Ellie model, and I had to buy the 7-round tube, and then mine has removable chokes. But I believe the Ellie models do not have removable chokes. So that is my guess on that. But yeah, thank you for sharing, Tommy. It looks great. This next one comes from Chris, and this is his Beretta A300 Ultima Patrol. It's 12 gauge. It's got a Streamlight ProTac light on there, a Trijicon MRO, and an S-Tac shotgun card. And I mean, it looks great. Not mentioned, but pictured below, it looks like we got a cool arid camo vest. Other than that, just a nice Beretta out of the box, but they come pretty much set up other than light and optics. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Chris. All right, guys, finishing it off, we have Derek with his 2 shotguns here. So it looks like we got 2 870s. I'm going to go through his list. So we have a Remington TAC 14. It's got a Magpul 4N, a Nordic Components follower, a beveled magwell, Velcro shotgun cards, shout out to James Reeves. The buffer adapter / grip is from Aim Sports, and then it's got a SB Tactical SBA3 brace on there. Looks great. And then the other one, it doesn't say what 870 it is, but it says the other started life pretty basic, but is now set up with an IC ported choke from Kicks, a Nordic Components +3 extension setup, spring, clamp, and QD sling cup on the other side. Magtube dimple delete, obviously. It's got a Magpul 4N, Phase 5 follower. He drilled and tapped the receiver. The rail is from Excess with the Ghost Ring sight. And then right now it has a Burris Fastfire. And then Magpul SGA stock, still need to install my QD cups. It's a 7+1 for now and still works as my Midwest deer gun. Nice. Yeah, thank you for sharing those, Derek, and thank you to everyone that submitted this week. I know shotgun builds are a little bit faster, but they still look amazing, and I'm sure there's still some inspiration to show people, so thank you all for sharing. Thank you guys again to everyone that submitted. I know it was a little bit shorter of a viewer build video, but there's not as much to talk about on shotguns, so that's why I also didn't mind posting multiple submissions. But when I get videos that have a lot more submissions and they take longer to get through, I can't always post multiple. So ideally for next week, if you can only post 1 gun, that'd be awesome. Again, the theme is going to be quad rail guns, and I just need a good horizontal picture and good quality. Ideally crop it to 16:9 if you can. That is how YouTube displays it, is that ratio. If you notice in some of the pictures, if they're too wide, there's a black border on top and bottom. I can't really edit that out depending on how wide your picture is. So again, 16:9. Other than that, send it to my email. It's sales@atroxco.com. If you're looking to support the channel, check out my website. It's atroxco.com. It's where I sell my merch. And other than that, yeah, thank you guys for watching. And next week will be week 17 in a row of viewer builds.